Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Again, episode 71, the ABJ Podcast, after a little bit of a hiatus. We'll dive into that another day, another time. But, guys, thank you so much for the support while I was away. A lot of people came in, checked on me. It meant a lot. But we are back. We're rocking and rolling. Episode 71 with Flash Carter. Make sure you guys check the links below for my guest links. Follow him on all social media, merchandise. He's got tons of it. Show all of that support, as well as links for ABJ. I just got a bunch of new merchandise, so T-shirts are available. I've been posting some of the new stuff by Logos by Hunter. So go grab some merchandise, T-shirts. Patreon is available. Patreon right now is just a general support type deal. There's nothing when it comes to bonus content or anything like that. That could be something that can happen in the future. So if you join and you have any feedback, please do that. We also have the Discord. So check out that Discord. New and improved. A lot of cool things going on there. So make sure you check out the Discord to join the community. There's always people in there chatting, whether it be professional wrestling or anything that's going on in the scene. Always people hanging out. Commands are available now in the chat. So if you're in here, hit the !! Discord or any social media tab, and if you want to follow me on any of those social medias. But also a huge thank you to our sponsorship, SVW, Suplex Vintage Wrestling, a store fully dedicated to vintage done, but I have seen it with my own eyes. Suplex Vintage Wrestling, or Suplex Vintage Wrestling, can't talk today, is a store curated for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, located on 5th Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, just one block south of South Street in the heart of Queen Village. Their shop features the largest collection of vintage wrestling apparel under one roof, and their selection includes classic designs featuring your favorite wrestlers from the Golden Age, Attitude Era, Internationals, Indies, and more. And if you're tired of watching premium live events at home, they host some of the best watch parties. You can hang out, get food, all that fun things. They're doing some type of fun giveaway. And if shirts and watch parties are not your thing, don't forget about their selection of figures, replica belts, and trading cards. From their T-shirts to hats, they have everything from rare memorabilia. There's something out there for every wrestling enthusiast. So check them out on Suplex SVW on Instagram or their website at suplexsvw.com and let them satisfy your nostalgia wrestling needs. Alrighty, well, we are here. We're getting started right away. If you're in the chat, it is live, so you can go in there and say hi. We will be watching. If you have questions at any point in time, interject them, please, and let's have some fun. So without further ado, let me bring in my guest. This guy I've been watching on the scene. I think the first time I seen him was the first ever live GTS show. It was in a library, and I seen him. I was very impressed by him. Great look. He's one of those wrestlers that when you see him, he bleeds his passion for this business, and I think it's probably his best quality. I really feel like when you see him, you just feel his love for this industry. He has some of the best merch game in the game. We're going to talk about that. Very interesting person. I'm excited to learn more about him. Got a little bit behind the scenes when the cameras were rolling, so I'm excited for everybody else to pick that up as well. But without further ado, you have to cue the doom, 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 flash. I love that. Anyway, Flash Carter, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up?
What is going on, man? Thank you for doing this. Man, like I said, first time I seen you, I think it was a library show, and then I was booked a few other shows where you were at as well. You got to hang out at the Sanctuary. We missed you yesterday.
I know. I was thinking about coming, but I just couldn't with the night I had Saturday. I was wrestling all day outside in the sun. I was just beat.
Sundays are tough stretch for wrestling on a Sunday. We get that. But First Friday is coming up, so if you're free this Friday, come back out and hang at the Sanctuary.
I might be. Don't know. Keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. But Dad, like I was saying, man, you bleed passion for this business. It's something that it's very evident when you hang out with you, when you see you, the way you interact with fans, the way you do all that stuff, man. It just really, really shines through. And I think that's what definitely drew me to you. Oh, hold on a second. Check 1 2. You have a little bit of echo going on.
Yeah.
I think we'll be fine. But yeah, so that's the biggest thing I noticed with you is just you bleed for this industry. You seem like you're genuinely having fun. You genuinely love being there, and that is something that I think a lot of wrestlers need to pick up again, as well as me at one point in time in this industry. Is you could tell when someone's bitter or angry, or they're just there to get through the motions. You generally enjoy being there, being around the fans, being talking to people. Like it's a good quality you have, and don't ever lose that.
Yeah, dude. I try to be like that. There's nothing I want to do in life where it's like I don't want to do it to the best of my ability. So if I'm gonna be a wrestler, like I want to be like a top level wrestler. So like I've been going to training recently. Like as soon as I was done with my school and like all that obligations that I had to take care of, I have a gap year now before medical school. I was like, I'm going to commit my life to wrestling and just.
Oh,
Hang on.
Oh, we're back. We're back.
I was like, yeah, no, I'm just going to commit my life to wrestling this year, whether it be like, paying dues, training, any kind of thing. Like I've been doing that all this summer, and I'm just going to keep on trying to do it and, just keep putting in that effort. And when it comes to like the stuff with the fans and all that stuff, like that's the part that like I enjoy the most. Like it looks like I'm having fun because I am really having fun when I'm out there. It's like, it's the coolest thing to me. I'm like watching it back, especially like, and I'm like chilling like the night of a show, I'm all beat up and whatever, and I'm watching. I'm just like, there's no way that's me doing all that stuff. Like that's crazy. But it's just like the kid in me comes out watching like WWE as a little kid. And we were talking before. I'm not even like that into like the major products right now. Like I'm aware of WWE, their storylines, but am I catching every episode? No. Like I still have a lot of other things I'm doing for my medical school application for wrestling, like I talked about. So I'm not really home like a lot watching all that stuff. But it's not like I wouldn't want to be at that level, It's just I'm invested in the stuff that I'm in right now. Like if I'm on a show, I'm gonna watch like all of mine and my boys' matches on the show, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And do you watch the show Heels? I know
I have not. So right now I'm in a situation where I don't have a lot of like the only streaming service has ones that people have.
It's free. You can watch the whole free right now though.
Oh really? I'll have to check it out. I have not seen it though. I heard good things though.
It is really good. So there's like this clip in the first episode of season 2, which just came out on Friday. And it's like when the guys first getting into the business and they're just like backstage at Brothers. And he's like, it's not stupid. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, this shit we do is not stupid. Like the money we get from it doesn't matter. It's like the brotherhood, the fraternity, the camaraderie that you have. Like, and that's like my favorite part too about showing up to shows. It's just literally going up to everyone and being like, what's up? Because like I have memories with like every person on the show. And when you're there for longer and you get to like work every person on a roster, it's so cool because then you have like a whole day you spent with that person bullshitting and talking while you're going over your match and stuff. But you become closer with that person in the process. And it's just like a really cool thing to me. So
yeah, it is definitely a really fun industry to be a part of. I was actually just talking a little bit with some of the people before a show yesterday, and I was like, I don't get how you guys plan out a match in 15 minutes and remember all of the spots or remember everything you're going to do to get to that point. I'm like, I'm such an improv person. Like, even with the podcast, I have an outline in my brain, and like sometimes I think with my guests, they get a little like, he hasn't talked to me or we haven't figured things out because I'm just so on the fly and I just have a conversation. But to translate that into just doing it on the fly in the ring is so crazy to me. And you can see when people try, and then you can see when people are good at it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, wow, they're just really flowing with each other really well. The chemistry, it's a fun business. It really, really is. With that being said, when did you fall in love with the art and the business of professional wrestling? What's your earliest memory as a kid saying this is what I'm into?
Oh, I remember like the first. I've watched wrestling like ever since I was a little kid. My dad was a fan, so I just grew up with it on the TV and stuff. And I always remember like, I would have to TV Raw when it went to like 3 hours when I was a little kid because my bedtime was always 10 o'clock and I couldn't watch the 10 to 11 hour. And I have like a distinct memory of like I think it was like a Randy Orton Miz cage match. And like it was the main event. I wanted to watch it so bad and I had to wait until the next day. And I went to school and there was a kid who was talking about it in like my 4th or 5th grade class. And he ruined the ending for me and I was so pissed off because I was like, I was going to watch that the second I got home. I would have watched it, but yeah, I've been into it for a while. I was at WrestleMania 27 as a little kid in Atlanta, Georgia, which is like infamously one of the worst WrestleManias, but I had a great time and it was like a surreal experience to be there. So just like the spectacle of 100,000 people in a stadium watching two guys in a ring do like a choreographed performance was like crazy to me. But
Yeah, I've never been to a pay-per-view. I've only ever been to a Raw and a SmackDown. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, pay-per-views aren't that special, but WrestleManias and like SummerSlams are special.
Rumble's my bucket list.
Bro, I've been to 2 Rumbles. I went to the one where I went to 2 where John Cena won. One was in Madison Square Garden. I was like a little kid. And then the other one was out in Phoenix, Arizona. We went with my friend's dad who lived there. And it was like a really cool time.
That's sick.
It was like him and Ryback. So I was like, ugh. I mean, I guess John Cena because like I didn't want Ryback. Yeah. I was like, I went to CM Punk when I was a kid, I remember. Now it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. He does a whole bunch of stuff over there that I've heard about. I've heard memes about.
Yeah. We got a lot of people in the Twitch chat trolling, which I love that. Please keep the engagement coming. I love it. You guys are killing it. Yeah, so you're probably seeing like something like me is too. You have a lot going on in the background. You see the Star Wars collection, the basketballs. I'm the same way, man. It's a lot going on when you're trying to be involved with everything at once. But
this is the coolest backdrop I thought I could come up with.
I love it. We went over all the balls that are autographed up there, and it's very, very impressive. When did you transition? Well, real quick before that, growing up, were you someone who played sports? Were you someone who was athletic? What all sports were you into?
I always played baseball until like high school. I played basketball like until college and soccer. That was it. Those 3. I mean, that took up a lot of time on its own, but it was just always like really fun for me. I like basketball the best. Like I still would go out and play at the parks and stuff in Philly at college. I wasn't good enough to be obviously a college basketball player, but I had some athleticism, and I think that helps me in wrestling.
Yeah. When did you transition from a fan of the business to I'm going to go to a school, I'm going to start training, and I'm going to become a part of this business?
So I was, I'm really young for my grade and stuff. I like kind of skipped like kindergarten or something. I don't know. They like pushed me forward because they like wanted me to stay with the kids I already knew or something. But like I was smart, so it didn't matter. And I was 17 years old when I started college out in Philadelphia. And I actually didn't turn 18 until October 25th, which was like a good like 2 months into the semester because college, it starts at the end of August, the semester. And I remember the Wrestle Factory, Chikara, I was looking it up one night. I was just like watching Raw and SmackDown with my roommates, and they weren't wrestling fans. But like we were like maybe drinking or something, and I was like, yo, I can do this. Like I know I could do this. Like I've watched this for so long because like there was a match on, and like you know how when you watch wrestling for long enough, you know what's going to kind of happen next in the match. Mm-hmm. So like I'm calling like what's going to happen next, and it's happened. They're like, yo, how do you know that? I'm like, because I've watched this shit my whole life. Like I know this. So then they were like, you should do it. So I'm like, all right, I'll look it up. So I find this place, sign up for classes because they started like 2 days after I turned 18, and you needed to be 18. And then I woke up in the morning with like the confirmation email. I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to wrestling training. Ever since, I didn't stop.
Who was all part of your training when you were there at Monster Factory?
No, Wrestle Factory, not
Wrestle Factory. Sorry, Wrestle Factory.
Yep. So it was really interesting because I was in a 101 class when I started, obviously, and Tony Cheney was in that class, and he was one of the best people I could have ever met. I had no idea who he was, but I remember the first day of practice, him coming and being like, oh, I just took like a suplex on a chair at a show yesterday, and I was like super intimidated. I was like, oh my God, these guys are like way more advanced than me. I do not belong. But it was a 101 class.
Yeah, so Tony Cheney, for those who don't know, he's actually the motion capture guy for the brand new wrestling video game coming up, the Wrestling Code, which is going to be really, really cool. It's going to be a really good wrestling video game, which is pretty much showcasing all independent wrestling. There's going to be some legends in there, so it can scratch that. It's like an indie show. You know, the name comes in and that draws the tickets, but you're there to see the indies, and that's kind of how this video game is set up. And Tony Cheney is the motion capture guy for that. So all which. Fun fact, the guy who's the most over right now in wrestling, LA Knight, has been the motion capture guy for most of the video games for a while. So Tony Cheney, a cool name drop there. I like that one.
Yeah, he's actually the one. He brought me to one of the motion capture things, and I got to help motion capture DDP into the game. That was like one of the coolest experiences. And we did that at the Nightmare Factory in Georgia, which is like Cody Rhodes' school.
Yeah.
So that was just all around really cool. We got to meet Kid Bandit, too, if you know who that is, and train with him for a little bit. just like a whole bunch of really cool stuff. It was like, I'm trying to think, there were some other people there too. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but it was just a very, very cool experience. A lot of Waffle Houses. I've never been to a Waffle House before that.
That's like a wrestling staple, right?
Yeah, it was just cool. But yeah, Tony Cini's a great guy. He got me like a lot of my first bookings right after that. That was like awesome. And it was just like really fortunate that I met him there.
Yeah. So I would think a lot of people, I'd say your biggest following comes from your time in the backyard, we'll say. Now, when I say that, I don't say it in a negative connotation. I mean Grimm's Toy Show, which has been, I think, a huge platform for you. How did you get involved with Grimm and start working there?
So that's literally Tony Cini. I had never been like on shows or anything. I did the 101 class, and that was it. Like Tony Cini didn't do the 201. He was just like there to learn a little bit. And he told me like I like to do seminars, do a couple week classes here and there, which I like respect. That's a really smart approach to it. He's got a great wrestling mind. But I did like 201, 30. I went like all the way up to like 501 or whatever. And then they were like, okay, you just got to join like the regular class, like the weekly class now. So that happened. And in the middle of all this, COVID was going on. So everything got shut down. Shows stopped running. And I was like trained at this point for a year, like decent enough to start doing like matches and stuff. But there was just nothing happening because of COVID. And I'm on the boardwalk, the Jersey Shore boardwalk one day. And just randomly, I hear this voice. And I don't know where I know it from, but I know it. And at that point, I had also taken a picture and put it on my Instagram with the people in my class. And this guy I went to high school with was like, yo, that's Tony Cini. He's a wrestler. He does this and this. He's like kind of big. And I remember watching some of his stuff. And then I'm like, that's Tony Cini. And I look behind me and it's him right there, like getting tacos or something. So I go over and I'm talking to him. And he's with like Zach Ruby and stuff. If you know, that's another wrestler. And they're like, yeah, we got this show tomorrow. You should come on by and see if you can help out. So it was like a GTS one. And I went by and they're like, yeah, we need a jobber for today. So I was the jobber. And I jobbed to this guy whose name was like something Moxley. Like he was a John Moxley ripoff.
Yeah.
Billy Moxley. And yeah, it was actually like really cool because I was like never in a match before. And now I'm like on camera in front of like, I think it got like 80,000 views because that was like a big dude return too, the Moxley guy. So it was just like a really cool thing. And then Grimm liked me. He's like, yeah, keep coming around. And, you get like a little bit more of an opportunity, a little bit more. And I guess he liked what I was doing. And then eventually I became like a mainstay on the show.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about Grimm is you can watch that channel and see names before they were names. Like you can see like the MJFs and like Thunder Rosa was already big, but like there's names that you could see that were on Grimm's that are now megastars. But also I hear stories all the time where someone like you are coming to the yard, or now my buddy Precious, just fresh as you could be, fresh as a daisy, enter Grimm's backyard and he sees something in you, or he builds a character off you, and then you're a main staple for a year or two, and he helps people get a following and people become fans. Like I really love what he has going on there, and I you're one of the biggest products of that. Like you, Corvus, Jay the Key, like people who came from the Grimm side of things and really make names for yourselves out there.
Yeah, Jay the Key, first of all, shout out. That's my best friend right there. But no, like what you just said is like spot on, and like that's why I hate anyone who will like shit on Grimm's or whatever, because like whatever you want to say, like at the end of the day, he probably pulls more views than like almost anyone but like the big like 5 companies out there.
Not only Precious was on GTS, but Precious is the tag and trios tag team in the same weekend. Yeah, that just happened.
Wait, I don't know if that's posted yet.
Oh, never mind. Cut that.
Yeah.
I don't know the schedule. I just heard about it.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't know.
Oops, cut that. My bad. Yeah, Precious has been doing some stuff at GTS, as well as a few people.
Me and my main man, Grimm, right now are the tag team champions over at GTS. If you want to see us defend them, you got to tune into Suck a Slam, though. Check out what happened.
My bad. I didn't know the recording schedule. I've been out of the loop. Well, maybe a teaser. Who knows? Editing can happen.
Hopefully Grimm doesn't see that.
Yeah. My bad, Grimm. Don't beat me up.
I did a match with Rocket at Grimm's last week. That was really fun. And I had this TV from my college dorm, and I was moving out last week. And when I was taking all my stuff out, because my lease is up today, July 31st, the TV dropped and broke that I had for like 4 years. So I was like, damn it, this is a broken TV. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring it to Grimm's. So I had this match with Rocket, and Isaac Scythe gets involved, and he ends up doing this crazy like reversal onto me, and I went head first into the TV. It was the coolest thing like I've done, and it was so soft. Like I was expecting it to like maybe even like cut me, but I was fine. And it was just like the coolest visual ever. So you guys got to check that out if you haven't seen that. GTS is like really starting to get going now. We're gonna get this like core group that we have, because we've been like struggling to keep like the same guys around and stuff. And I feel like if we have the group that we have right now, we can build a really cool product. Like there's some really good wrestlers there. The best there's been in a while.
Yeah.
Rad, if you know him, Radley Belmont. He's really cool.
I love how the 570 scene, our 570 PA guys are making the trip down there, because it's been something that we talked about for a while. Like like I feel like that Jersey scene has been really, really good, and then I feel like I'm very proud of our 570 scene. I think there's a lot of really talented people, and I think that coming together has been really cool, and a really good indication of that has been places like GTS, where you can see that mashup of really talented people down there killing it.
Yeah, no, like GTS has been like really cool. Like, I mean, I go there one day and like wrestle like James Ellsworth. I go there next day and wrestle like Rocket. Like, there's just so many different kinds of people that come through there. It's just like a hub for all of wrestling, you know?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I feel like if you're on this like coast, like northeast side of wrestling, and you're on the indies, at one point you're gonna end up in Grimm's. Like, that's just it just goes like that, you know?
Yeah. So when it comes to your merchandise game, I think that's another thing that really stood out to me. I went to your shows, and you have the flash sticks, you have the foam fingers, T-shirts. Where do you find this as someone who sells merchandise? Where do you go to get custom foam fingers and light sticks and stuff?
So I actually have like a lot of my stuff. I get it from the same people that the New Jersey Devils use for all of their like promotional giveaway stuff.
That's awesome.
Like a guy that's like willing to do like custom orders if you order in bulk. So I can show you right now, our spare bedroom is just like 600 of those foam lightning bolts everywhere, because we have to order like 1,000 at a time to get them made custom.
Yeah.
But eventually, like, I mean, they go. Like, I always am restocking my bag with them. That's like my number one seller, because it's like $5. It's a really cool little thing, you know. Parents are like, all right, $5, I'll get it for the kid. They can hold up the foam thing. They can, bop each other with it, whatever. But I think, and it's like the lightning bolt, so that's like, a different shape than a normal like foam finger. So it attracts eyes.
Yeah, no, and here's the thing too, is on the indie scene, they're starting to come back with signs. A lot of signs at wrestling shows, and they're coming back.
Right here. I got
Go ahead.
one back.
He's pulling out a sign.
I haven't gotten all of them, but like I usually take a picture, or if they'll let me take them home. I have like a bunch of ones that I've taken home before.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool ones like that. Like this one is like, what is it, UWC one?
That's awesome. So you go up to fans and ask for their signs?
No, sometimes like they'll give me them, and like I'll just take them because like.
Have you gotten a drawing yet from Gavin?
Maybe. Honestly,
have you heard of? Well, if you haven't, then you haven't. So Gavin's a little fan who goes to wrestling shows in our area.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. I've met him. Yeah.
Yeah, you've made it when you get a hand drawn sign from Gavin. But yeah, so signs are coming back. But I think what makes you stand out too, when people go, wait a second, during the match, everyone was running around with these foam fingers and light sticks, and you don't see those at independent shows. Like that's just not an item you see around. And then you see on camera and photos these foam fingers and people going crazy. And I think that's another way people associate with you and remember you as a talent, is because that's such an odd and unique item that you sell at your merch table, that you sell cheap and you sell and you do very well selling them, that people are like, yo, he's the kid with the foam fingers that was at the match. Like, I've heard of people refer to you as that, like, because of that. I think it's super smart.
The craziest thing happened. So, like I said, I'm always like into how do I put this? Like, I want to leave my mark on like the fans. So even if it's like the littlest thing, I have business cards that I'll give to kids, because kids are always like, oh, I don't have money, but I want something. So I'll be like, oh, you could take this, and I'll even sign it for you on the back, so it feels like they get something. while the only thing they're getting is like something promoting me, which, you know, it's still cool. They get like an autograph thing, but now they can look at that, follow me on wherever, because I have all my socials on it. And sometimes, like, I'll just throw out the bracelets. I sell them for $1, but I just throw them out when I'm walking out or at intermission sometime. And I was at a club in Philadelphia after I took all my tests and everything, celebrating with my roommates. And this guy comes up to me and, like, taps me. And he's like, "Are you Flash Carter?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know me?" And he just goes like this, and he has my wristband on. And it's the coolest thing ever. And I was like shocked.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat. This happens a lot on the chat. I guess because we were mortal enemies for a while, but we have become friends. But someone's already making a match here. They want to see Flash Carter versus Ricky Price.
Oh, I've heard that a couple times this weekend. Yeah, I like Ricky Price. We could definitely do that. We got to get somewhere to book it.
Maybe that first Friday at Sanctuary. If you guys both come on Friday, that could be a fun match. My buddy here saying I need to move to the Northeast area. The scene out there seems so much cleaner. We have great talent here, but there's some sketchy people. He's from Kansas.
Sketchy people everywhere, brother.
Oh yeah, there's sketchy
people everywhere.
Leon the King says Flash stands out at the indie shows. I totally agree. So
man.
One of the things, another question I like to ask is something that you see all the time or you hear about, maybe backstage, but not so much as fans, but when you're in a business or in your industry and you have that aha moment where you're training everything you've been doing, where you still have the nerves. I'm not saying the nerves go away, but you have that moment where you either work with a talent or you have a conversation with somebody. You just get that in-ring time and you're like, everything just kind of feels like it finally clicks. Like you have that snap moment where you're like, oh, I get this now. You know what I mean? Or you feel like you've hit that next level. When has that happened for you in your career, or has it happened at all yet?
I think, like, you could say, like, there's levels to it. Like, I feel like I apply this to everything in life, not just wrestling. Mm-hmm. But, like, life is all about making mistakes and then learning and not making the same mistakes. So if I fuck up, like, one way in wrestling and, like, I get heat for something, like, even if it's, like, the stupidest, littlest thing, you will not catch me doing that ever again. Like, I'm, like, very serious about wanting to become better, like I was talking earlier, better at everything I do. And I feel like the best way to do that is just to look back on how you messed up in the past and make sure you don't do that again. So every time, like, I'm at a new place training, I kind of feel like, oh, wow, like, this is a really interesting new perspective, like something I would not have thought of, something that a place before has now taught me about. Because I did some time, like I said, I did like 2.5 years at the Wrestle Factory. I spent like 2 months one summer at Creative Pro in Long Island, which was like really far away. And now, like, I've been doing the last couple months at CZW, and they're really, really smart over there. Like Deshaun Pratt.
I love Deshaun.
Yeah, dude, Deshaun is the best. And I was literally having this exact conversation with him. I'm like, I'm here because, like, I want to get better. Like, I know that I don't know everything. I know that there's still so much for me to improve. I'm so young, and there's, like, I can do so much more in this with the proper teaching and learning. And that's why I'm there. And, like,
he's a good person to link up with. If I was in the business, and Deshaun has said it on this podcast, he doesn't want any money. He just says, pay me in sweat. Come to the dojo and pay me in sweat. And if Deshaun's willing to give you a free education and all you have to do is work your ass off, take that education, because Deshaun's a good human.
Hell yeah, dude. Deshaun is one of my favorite guys.
Yeah.
But no, like, just the time, I guess, spending there. And then when I do, like, the things I learn in training in a match and it goes, like, over really well, that's, like, one of those moments, because I'm like, oh, like, damn, like, they really do know, like, what they're talking about. And, like, obviously they do and stuff. But when you see it, like, executed good in a match, you're like, that's just, like, crazy to think. I was just, like, walking through that in practice last week, and now, like, we're doing this, and it's going the whole, you know, at 10 speed, and it's looking crisp and everything.
Yeah. Dude, everything you just said, that like the Long Island CZ, like, you're putting yourself in the right positions to get better at what you're doing, and I don't know, man. I think you're on a really, really good track. I'm super excited. I'm excited for you. Like, I don't know.
I try, man. I try. I don't know. Like, everyone's, like, now starting to be like, oh, he's going to medical school. He's going to be a doctor. And this.
No,
and
have something to fall back on.
I know. I still, like, really want to go for this, and, like, that's, like, probably my next big decision, because I still have to obviously see where I get into or not for medical school. But then if I do get into, like, somewhere far away, it's like, do I want to start kind of all over in a new place? Do I want to just keep it up? Like, I kind of want to stay in this area, maybe. Like, that's a thought, and just like continue to do this, because medical school is grueling and stuff. But like, I would still probably be able to wrestle.
What do you want to do in medical school? Like, what is your goal?
Cardiology. So,
okay.
I mean, really, like, I want to be like a cardiovascular surgeon, but like, obviously you got to get through medical school before you get to surgeon school. So it's one step at a time, you know?
Yeah. That's
the end goal.
Is there a reason why you picked that industry or field or that part of the body?
I've shadowed like 4 different types of doctors now, and it's just the one I found the most interesting. Like when they are like literally, they do this. It's do you know what a cardiac catheterization is by chance?
It sounds intrusive.
It's not at all. It's like one of the most common things. Like so, like a lot of old people who smoke cigarettes get it. It's when your like arteries start getting a little plaque and they start getting blocked. So you go for these tests, and then if you get a certain percentage back blocked, the doctor will be like, okay, we got to put in what's called a stent, and it's just like this little balloon that blows up and it like opens up that artery. But the way they put it in is they go in through the artery in your thigh, your femoral artery, and they just put like a pipe cleaner looking thing, and they shimmy it up there, and then they press a button, and it blows it up, and then they shimmy the thing out, and then you're done.
That's crazy. Are you awake for it?
You're under local anesthesia, so you won't remember it, but you'll be like biologically awake for it. Yeah,
that's crazy. I think that's the artery in your leg that I'm a Commanders fan, but back in the day when they had a different name, Sean Taylor unfortunately was in a home invasion and he was shot in that artery.
Yeah,
and he actually bled out and died. That's like so I guess that's the main one you go into because I guess it's the largest one or something, right?
Yeah, that's the easiest way to get up to all of these arteries up here, because a lot of the time they won't do a stent like I just said unless it's almost 100% blocked, with the exception of the arteries that supply blood to the heart itself, because those are the most important. You got to keep your heart beating. I
always question, like when someone's like, I'm going to medical school, because obviously people just think of it as a broad spectrum, but there's so many different things you could do. It's like, how do you go from like, I want to do heart doctor, I want to do this, to like, I'm going to be the butt doctor or the PP doctor, or you know what I mean? Like, you're like, so, all right, well, this ain't working out, I'm going to try this field.
How it works actually is your first 2 years of medical school, you do each rotation. You go through 8 different things. You have to do OBGYN, you have to do psychiatry, you have to do pediatrics, you have to do like internal medicine. So you get to go through it all. I just kind of like have the idea that I want to do it because I shadowed those doctors, and now it's like getting into medical school is crazy. That's why I haven't been able to like be training like the last few years consistently as much as I wanted. I'd have to volunteer like 10 hours a week. I'd have to shadow doctors for the whole summer when I wasn't in school. Like, they just want you doing a ridiculous amount of stuff. I'm just so happy it's like in the past now, and I actually have free time to do wrestling stuff. Like, it's the best.
Yeah, it comes down to those reps. You don't get good unless you get the reps, and obviously that's an industry you need to be good at, so you're going to do a lot of reps.
Like I said, it'll be like 12 years before I get to be done with school if it goes the way I want it to. So,
yeah, well, as long as you can balance both and wrestling and doctor stuff, it's gonna be successful for you. Well, let's dive into the name here, Flash Carter. Right. How did you land on this name? How did it come about?
Carter is the shoot middle name, so you can go put that on the GTS wiki. Go ahead. There's your little snippet of information.
As I already spoiled something,
dude,
right?
they have that I'm Jewish on there. I don't know how they even got that. They got everything. But yeah, no, that's my shoot middle name. And I was gonna go Jay Carter because my real name is Jared Carter. But someone was like, no, that's boring as shit. So I was like, all right, well, what do we got? And then we were like thinking. And then this one guy had a keychain with the Flash logo on it. And he was like, Flash Carter. And I was like, yes.
Now, once you landed that name, did you start looking into more like Flash comics, Flash TV, or do you just stay away from it because it's too much?
Not really. I mean, like, yeah, like I always like laugh when like it's like something with Flash now, but like I actually watched the CW show for a couple years when I was younger, but I stopped watching it, and I don't know. I know they have like 5 more seasons now. I can't.
Yeah. It started off really good. I like that kid a lot who played Flash. The only gripe I had with it is it seemed like he had a really big head, and it looked weird in the costume.
I like
a Funko Pop.
I don't know. He was a good Flash. He was a good Flash.
He was a good Flash.
They should have used him for that movie they had.
And not the creepy dude, right?
Yeah, I heard he has a whole bunch of problems. Not just like
goodness.
Creeping, like drugs and like fucking weapons and all this stuff. He's got
charges with. He got canceled, and everyone's like, "Who cares?" It's like pro wrestling, you know, and just like, come back. No one talks about it. We'll just keep going.
Yeah, we'll just run it under a different name or something.
Yeah. We'll just drop your last name. Nobody will ever know.
Yeah, I'll just be Fast Carter now.
Yeah. So besides professional wrestling, what are some of your other passions? You said basketball and stuff like that, but if like, what else are you into? Obviously, you have the Star Wars thing. Are you a gamer? Or you read?
I play like only sports video games. So like right now, I'm playing a lot of MLB The Show. If you know it.
Okay.
My Diamond Dynasty team is pretty legit, so no one wants to play me in that. I got the 99 Derek Jeter you get for getting like every card in the game.
My little brother's a MLB streamer. He's on Twitch. He goes by Captain Butters.
I don't even know if I have Twitch installed anymore, but you should tell him I want to play him because no one beats me in Diamond Dynasty.
There you go. There's another streamer that I found, and I guess they became friends or they know each other, but I found him on TikTok. It was so random. He plays MLB The Show, and then like if something crazy happens to the game, somehow he cuts to like a green screen of him in front of like the thing, and he'll be like screaming at an umpire like, "Umpire, I can't believe you missed that call!" Like he's like such a like he'll be playing the game, and then he'll cut, and it'll be a screen of him on a green screen, and the umpire just stand there in game, and it's him in the game like screaming at the like he's so wildly entertaining. I wish I knew the guy's name, but I seen him on TikTok. But yeah, MLB The Show is insanely. I don't have the patience for it. Baseball is one of those sports. Growing up, I don't have the hand-eye coordination to hit the ball, and then when I finally do hit the ball, I grew up playing soccer, so I get bored standing still. I need to keep moving. You know what I mean? I'm the kid in the outfield picking daisies. That's me.
I was a catcher my whole life, so I was never bored because I'm involved every pitch. You know.
Yeah.
So that's like why I wanted to be catcher because I used to play outfield and I would be like bored as shit. But I would be like, if I get to call the pitches and stuff, then you're literally like one of the most important parts of the game, you know?
Yeah. Now, who's your baseball team?
I'm a Mets fan. I was on the Mets game like 2 weeks ago. I went to a day game and I have this huge like probably goes like up to here Mets cowboy hat, right? Like very obnoxious, very rambunctious. And then it was like a 1 o'clock day game we were going to, and I went with my mom, and I was like, "Mom, you realize if it's like a blowout, like I don't know if you know the Mets commentators, but like Keith Hernandez and Gary Cohen, they just start talking about the most random shit, and it's so funny. So I'm like, if I wear this hat and it's like a blowout game, there's a good chance I can get on TV." So they come back from commercial. It's like 6-1. The Mets are losing. And the camera's just like panned on me waiting in line for like a hot dog at Shake Shack. And then you see me turn around and I'm like, "Oh, what's up?" And I'm like, on and stuff. It was the best.
Now, are you from the Philly, PA area?
No, I'm from like Central Jersey, but I went to college.
Okay.
In Philly, so
makes sense. I was just say, if you live in the Philly area, how are you walking around as a? That's dangerous.
I actually got into a fight opening day at the Mets Phillies game like 4 years ago with my dad. It was pretty funny.
Oh man, I grew up in Pennsylvania, and none of my teams are PA teams. I follow all the Washington, DC, Virginia teams. That's like,
respectable. That's respectable.
Yeah. A lot of those teams, they're minor teams, or they used to have training camps and stuff, have all been like in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and I'm close to that. So like the Nationals, the Hershey Bears are the Capitals, and then Washington training camp used to be in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. So that's kind of how I've gravitated to all the DC teams.
Penn State's medical school is in Hershey. I applied to there. That's one of the ones I
heard
down.
Penn State has Penn State and Temple are probably the top two in PA, right? For medical.
Well, and then whatchamacallit, UPenn, they're Ivy League. They're great. But I don't know. I don't want to be in Philly anymore. I want to get out of Philly. I got my car broken into like 3 times this year. I'm done with it.
Oh, don't tell me that.
And
I might be moving to Philly.
Oh, well, there's good parts. Like South Philly is really nice, but like Temple and specifically Temple's medical school are in like the 2 worst parts of North Philly.
A lot of high crime.
Super duper high crime. There was a guy killed in front of my apartment this year. They had like
Jesus.
the outline of the gun on the street for like 2 weeks.
Wasn't there like a kidnapping or a hostage situation like not too long ago?
Oh, yo, there was one time I was coming out of the gym because Temple has super nice gyms, right? Like that's at least one thing they have, like swimming pools, everything you can imagine. And I'm going into Subway to get, like a little protein after, and I'm going to walk out, and there's a cop like right there. He's like, "You guys got to stay in here." I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "We have like a guy who's holding up a store down the block. We're not letting anyone in or out of any of these stores until we get the situation under control." So I was stuck inside a Subway for like 30 minutes while I get this knucklehead out of the friggin' like deli he was.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. So, any other interests or passions?
Well, like I said, all sports. I'm all over the place. I'm a big Patriots fan. I've been to a couple Super Bowls. So I went to the one against the Eagles where we lost, and then the one against the Rams where we won. That one was a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Big Portland Trailblazers fan, believe
Wow.
it or not. So I'm very upset Damian Lillard's leaving us, but I've been with them for like 10 years, so I got to stick with them even if he goes.
How do you land these teams all over the place?
There's reasonings behind them all. So the Patriots, when I was like a little kid, because my mom's a Cowboy fan and my dad's an Houston Oiler turned Tennessee Titan fan.
Okay.
They're like, okay, we want you to pick one of these things, and they had like a case of every mini helmet, and I picked the one of the Patriots guy in like the 3-point stance. The
great logo. Great logo.
Yeah. So I picked that one, and they just started buying me Patriots shit, and it just so happened that I was born in 2001, which is like when they won their first Super Bowl. And, like, I was growing up on them losing 2 Super Bowls to the Giants. Those were my first memory. So
Yeah.
I hated They were, like, losers to me. They weren't winners until we started beating the Seahawks and the Falcons and all those ones.
Could you imagine? Yeah. My team lost the Super Bowl, so they're losers. Come over to the Commanders side where
You guys
just terrible.
You still have one from the 90s you can remember. That's not that long ago.
Yeah, I was alive for when they beat the Bills. Yeah, I was very young, but I was alive for it.
Yeah, see, I was happy because, like, I was technically alive. I was 0, 2, and 3 when the Patriots won their first 3, and then they lost 2 to the Giants, and I was like, oh my god, like they're never gonna win again.
You're making me feel so old. Your whole dynasty, your childhood was the entire Patriots dynasty.
I know, it's crazy, and I was thinking about it the other night. I was like, I'll never be able to watch a quarterback that's better than Tom Brady in my life. Like, I've already seen the best because
you'll never see a
coaching
coaching QB combo like that ever again.
Just crazy, like 10 Super Bowls. That's insane.
It's unheard of.
It is. But no, them and then Devils and Mets I like. Those are the local teams. And I like Portland because when I started getting into basketball in like 2014, they were the team that drafted me in 2K. So I just like that.
That's sick. Now we'll end here. I like name dropping, plugging people, getting more names out there for people to be aware of. Who are some of your favorite matches that you've had in this industry, and who are some matches that you haven't had that you want?
Ooh, I'm very like against like putting out those lists and stuff. Like I know everyone likes to put out their little list. Of, like,
I love speaking things into existence. You would not believe how many times people have said stuff on podcasts or on my podcast, and it has come true for them. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I have that much stroke. Maybe the universe listens.
We'll start with the favorite ones, I guess. Let's see. Very recently, I think my matches at UWA Elite, if you know that promotion, have been like killing it. I had this crazy like half an hour TLC match with Eric Corvus. We just like absolutely killed each other. That was awesome.
He's really good, but I like his brother Pete better.
I haven't had a one-on-one with Pete, but one of my very first matches that I liked, like maybe like 6-7 months into having my first match, it was me and Ace Hitman Jones, if you remember who he is. He was my tag team partner at UWC for a while, against Tommy Salami and Pete Corvus, and that was a really, really good match. That was my favorite like tag match I did in a while. But I had one against KTB, if you know him. He's really awesome. That was a great match. One against Joey Adams, too, from UWA. I don't know. There's a lot of matches that I enjoy. There's some that I definitely don't enjoy. Those you'll never hear me talk about. But, like, there's a lot that I watch back with, like, fond memories. But there's always things I think I can improve on. Even in, like, my favorite matches where, like, everything is, like, clicking. There's going to be some way I go in the ring weird, or I should have hooked him on this or not on that. Like, just small things I'm always going to find.
You beat yourself up over.
Yeah, but like that's like a good thing because like you can always find room to improve. Like, and if you're like giving people room to critique, then they'll give you critiques. So like you don't want to have any
Yeah.
like loose ends. Basically, you want to tidy up everything you possibly can in a
That
match.
it's actually really good too, and I feel like Grimm's a good spot for that, as well as how I feel like how he said he fell into like our area of people, like the people like that I work with a lot, and I think what makes our area so good and our talent so good is we're unapologetic with each other. Like, yo, your match sucked. Like, you got to fix this, and this, or like these are the things you should work on, and that's good to be around. Like, if you're not mentally ready for critiques, it could be hard on you because you think they're picking on you or whatever it may be. But that you need to be around people who are not just going to be like, "Oh, your match is great, kid." You know what I mean? You're not going to get better.
Yeah, I won't lie. There was one time because Grimm is like that too, and like that's like how you need to be. Like, not that long ago, Grimm was like, getting on me. He was like, "Oh, like I feel like you gotta like, give it a little more and stuff." And I like, he was like, "You're right, I do." And then the last couple matches, I really going hard there. But like I've seen like him say to a guy before, like we'll finish a match, and he'll be like, "Yeah, like I don't think I could post that. Like that was just like I'm gonna be honest, like the shits."
Yeah.
Like, and like it's like true, and it's like you need to hear that sometimes. But like some guys just don't want to hear it. They're just like, "Oh, just put it out anyway." Like you really shouldn't put that out there if it's gonna look bad on your behalf.
Yeah, and obviously it's his brand too, and he doesn't want to put out stuff that's bad. So,
oh yeah, and that's the other thing. Like when people like get snippy with him, I'm like, would you like tell like a booker or like a promoter like no if they told you to do this? Like you're just a wrestler on his show. Like it's his booking and stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta live.
Yeah,
I
totally agree.
When people get like ego-y like that. And like I'm never like that with him, and I think that's why he doesn't mind when I'm like, yo, like it would be funny if we like said this or whatever, and then sometimes he'll throw it in, Like that TV. Remember I told you about the TV I brought? I was like, Grant, when I grab this, you should be like, Flash, we just invested the whole budget for the month into this. You can't do this to the TV. It's the brand new monitor. And I was like, that was great. Like, I laughed so hard at
that. So matches that you haven't had that you want.
Oh, geez. I don't know. Who haven't I fought that I know that I want to fight?
Is there like like maybe names that are out there, like maybe big name guys that you've seen that you're like a fan of that you would like to work?
I mean, putting me on the spot right here. Well, the one we definitely got to get, we said before, we'll do me versus Ricky Price.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those PA guys I know.
I'd like to see you and Hawthorne with ropes.
Yeah, I definitely want to get Hawthorne again with ropes. Definitely want to get, let's see, like Corey Dillinger. Me and him need to get in a one-on-one if you know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think, what else? I want to do me.
I'm excited to see you and Rocket.
Yeah. Oh, there's a good one-on-one. Yeah, we need that on a live show. Definitely me and Rocket. We were supposed to at another place, but like they legit told us, they were like, yeah, we're gonna get you guys next month one-on-one. And it just fell through and never happened, which sucks. But eventually it'll happen.
I think, just putting over Sanctuary a little hard here, I think you and Andre would be a good match as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like a lot of those guys there. Xander was telling me he wanted to do some stuff. I was like, we definitely can. Precious, I don't know. We may or may not fight on GTS this week, so you might have that to look
Tune in.
To. Yes. But yeah, I don't know. Like big name guys, like I'm not gonna be a mark and be like, I want to fight Seth Rollins. Like I'm not gonna be like that. I don't know.
Is there like GCW guys out there that you're like, man, I wish I can get to that level or work with those kind of guys?
I guess
they want to see you and Rocket in a tag team.
Dude, we talked about it and like we were thinking, but I don't know. Like the one place I was thinking doing it, he just turned heel at now. So I'm like, But we've been talking about that. Like, I would love to team with Rocket. It's just the logistics behind it. We'd have to figure out like a company that would let us do it and shit.
You gotta learn how to dance too.
I tried to do a handstand. Like he did the break dance, and then like it was my turn because they were introducing me, and I just did like a handstand. That's the only thing I. But I don't know. We'll see. I guess now that I'm at CZW, I want to fight with like a lot of those guys too eventually. Yeah. But they've been there for a lot longer, so I got to put in my time there.
Have you worked Quay yet, Matt Quay?
In a multi-man match, but yeah, I do want to eventually get him into singles.
Yeah.
We did a multi-man in like Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at this RWF, if you've heard of it.
Yep, I've heard of it.
Yeah,
I think my buddy Header was a champion there for a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Him and Quay were trading off.
It was me, Quay, Andy Header, and Prince Piranha in that match.
Okay.
And then it sprung off into 2 singles matches, me versus Piranha and Quay versus Header.
Yeah, didn't they do like a 2 out of 3 or something like that?
Yeah. So originally it was the 4-way for the vacant belt, and they pinned the 2 of us at the same time, like in a roll-up.
Oh, gotcha.
So that went off, and we went off. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, listen, we're at that 50-minute mark. If anyone has any last questions or anything they want to put out there in the chat, please do so now. Flash, while people are coming up with questions for you, is there anything you want to talk about, anything we didn't cover, anything you want to plug?
I mean, I'm posting new matches. I'm trying to post new matches to the YouTube all the time, so you can always check those out for clips. Stay posted to my social media. I'm always posting where I'm going to be. I'm booked out basically most Saturdays for the year, so I will be somewhere. I will be in your neck of the woods if you're around the Pennsylvania or New Jersey area. And if you want to see me come to your area and I'm not there, make sure to let your local promotions know and stuff, because I get a lot of messages. Why aren't you here? Why aren't you there? Let them know you want me there. People
don't realize they have more power as the fans than they think they do. If you want a wrestler on a podcast, you want a wrestler on a local show, tag them, because especially if a promoter's like, yo, who's this guy coming getting his name tagged all over the place, that will change people's perceptions. You have so much power in the comment section that you don't realize you do.
100%.
Grim versus Flash Carter, they said.
We did have a classic rivalry like 2 years ago, and we've been best friends for a while though. We're tag team champs, and I don't see that ending anytime in the foreseeable future. So throw that away. Throw that comment away. We don't need that.
Have you worked Jay one-on-one yet?
Jay Evans?
Yeah.
Yeah, a ton.
Yeah.
We were like, dude, we were in a rivalry at 3 different promotions at the same time in the spring. So we fought each other like 4 times in like 5 weeks once. It was crazy.
Someone said he might be stepping away soon here.
He said he is, but he's still doing.
I hate that.
I know. I'll get him.
I was supposed to have him on this podcast, but things fell through, so he's one I have to reschedule and get on, because people are really excited for that one.
Yeah, you got to catch him when he's not at the club.
Yeah, he's a partier.
Dude, so we went out Thursday night because it was Italian night at our favorite club, which is like, come on, Italian night, we got to turn up. I had the hair slicked back and everything. And then Friday night we go out again. And he was going out Saturday, and then Sunday I couldn't do those 2. I was like, bro, I gotta go home and rest up.
Greg said in the chat, how did you get hooked up with GTS? We kind of talked about that earlier. Tony Cheney put that together and kind of had to come in. But appreciate the comment, Greg. I was thinking of someone in my area that you'd like to work, and Kenny Alfonso is the name they put out. He's from the Kansas area.
Dude, I would love to come out to like the Midwest.
Yeah. That scene's blowing up. The Midwest scene's getting popular. Like, I mean, it probably always is popular, but there's so much wrestling out there. It's so hard to consume and remember everything. That's why, like, sometimes on social media I see a post and I say something stupid and then I blow something later on. But I really want to make a run for like PWI 500, but I feel like it's not going to happen. Definitely not this year, because I had the wrist break, so I missed like 3-4 months of that. Yeah.
And I don't know. I just feel like I don't do enough promotions that they give a fuck about.
Well, you had an opportunity to be part of, and you're still working with High Tension, and they had a laundry list of people that from their promotion that have made it.
Yes, they are absolutely R1, and I'm really upset because the last one that they were having, I was going to come out to, and I think it got postponed or canceled or something. And the next one that they're doing is like the biggest show for one of my other ones I'm at, so I have to be at that one.
Yeah.
But I will be back there. I was talking to I was talking to Alex, and I was talking to Brian Ace, if you know him, Ryan.
Yep.
He was a guy I trained with for a really long time at the Wrestle Factory.
He's very impressive. I'm a big fan.
He is my man, and I brought him to GTS twice. I hope he comes more. He could definitely make a name for himself there too.
Agreed.
You could tell them I would love. Oh, tried.
Have you ever tried the new Northeast Wrestling as promotion?
New is like the abbreviation.
Oh, okay.
Northeast Wrestling. I have not, but I will look into it.
Once again, tag them. We'll let the promotion know you want Flash Carter there.
Yes, absolutely. I want to get out to New York, get more up to the northern sections. Get all out.
Yeah, there's so much out there, man. It's crazy. The New York scene is really doing well. I would say if I was a wrestler, I mean, commentary even or anything. It just I wish I had a freaking car. But House of Glory is very high on my list. I would like to go see a show there or be a. That's everyone I know that came out of that school have been class act people, and I'm a fan of almost all of them that I've met.
See, my thing is like I was at that Wrestle Factory for a while, and then they moved way out into PA, like probably kind of by where you guys are. And I was like, when I'm in Jersey, like back home with my mom, it's like a 4-hour drive there. And I was like, I don't know if I can do that all the time. So that's when I started going to CW like a couple months ago. And I really want to like stay there and commit there because I feel like you got to be at a place for like 6 months to a year before you even like get taken seriously, you know?
Yeah. Well, you have a lot in Jersey to choose from. You got CZW, you got Monster Factory, you got Create Pro, or they Create a Wrestler in Jersey? I know they switch it between the.
They are something else, Wrestle Pro or something.
Wrestle
right?
Pro, yeah.
Yes.
A lot of good schools in that area.
Same thing.
Yeah. So anything else you want to plug before we get you out of here?
Like I said, the Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever they call it now. Those are all on the thing that I gave you, right?
Yep.
Yep. So that's like how I'm always keeping you guys up to date, posted on what I'm doing. Just stay tuned there and tag me in those places you want to see me at. You gotta let me know where these places are. These NEWs, these guys you're telling me to fight out in Kansas. Let them know I want to come fight them. Let them know I'm gonna.
Flash Carter is on a mission for PWI 500. Let's get him there. Everyone, his link tree is below. Click the link tree. All of his stuff is there. Go support it. Buy some merchandise. Show this kid some love. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in and hanging out. First podcast back. We had a pretty nice audience. Appreciate you, Flash, for doing this, and love to have you back on in the future. And I look forward to seeing you on Friday, hopefully. Fingers crossed. All right. Well, listen, we'll see you guys next week. Not next week. Tomorrow. I have a lot going on. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, we are back again with from the Lost Boys. Junie Underwood will be tomorrow.
The guy I trained with.
Yeah. Junie Underwood will be tomorrow. And then on Thursday, 7 p.m., things are going to get really weird and really creamy as Stan Styles joins us on the podcast. So we have a lot coming on just this week alone. The rest of the month is jam-packed full of stuff. Make sure you tune into the ABJ Podcast. If you're watching this live right now, make sure you go and follow the ABJ Podcast on all podcast platforms. Leave a review, likes, and comments. We're on the quest right now for 1K subscribers on YouTube, so make sure you share this out. And we need to get the watch hours up. So when if you're hanging out, you're laying in bed, put on YouTube, play a podcast episode, and help get the watch hours up. We're about halfway there to get monetized here on YouTube and make these big corporations pay the little guy like me. That'll do it for the ABJ Podcast. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Here's some music by the Converse Kid, Billy Trey, and we'll see you next time.